Boss Slow and Mr. Clinton Conway, speaking and exposing corruption each and every day. Yeah, 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 yeah. Guyanese, turn on your TV and go to YouTube and listen to what Boss Slow and Conway to say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whole day we are calling for Boss Slow and Clinton Conway. They teach and educating, exposing the things in the system. We need a better Guyana for the little boys and the children poor. Slow and Clinton Conway.
All the money in this 2.2 billion.
Hear me when I sing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. Guyanese at home and abroad, please log into Conway as wide as it can reach. Paul Slow, you always will preach. Oh, yeah, yeah. Like and share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so this message could reach as far, and every Guyanese will feel well. Oh yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Paul Slow and Clinton Conway. Paul and Conway, every day.
All the money.
I pray, oh Lord, to face another day. Oh, Lord, give me strength to face another day. Carry on life's road, carry on my load. Give me strength, oh God, to carry on. Oh, my
Pleasant good morning, one and all. Pleasant good morning. Give me strength, Lord. Give me strength to carry on. Welcome to the Monday's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Today is Monday, the 8th day of June, in the year of our Lord 2026. Welcome, one and all. And as the introductory song says, like and share, hit the notification button. It tells you about Paul Slow and Clinton Conway. We know Clinton Conway is no longer in the land of the living, but he's here in spirit. He's here in spirit. So welcome one and all. Another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It is a privilege to be in the land of the living, and we must never, ever take that for granted. And also, you see what I've said. It's a privilege to be in the land of the living, to do God's work. And that is what we are going to do. We got to always honor him, remember him. Great man has gone to the great beyond. So yes, welcome one and all. Like, share, let them know that we are here. When these gates were open at 9 o'clock this morning, we had a flood of students to get into the schoolyard. And then when the school doors were open, a similar flood to get into the classroom. So here we are. Well, I continue. You and I are here to continue. I will continue to bring you credible, valuable information. So just share, let them know that we are on. And when I say let them know we are on, I'm not talking about the regulars. We have thousands of regulars who are on the live every day, right? But new people are coming all the time. And let me take this opportunity to thank all those who have met me over the past week or longer and have expressed condolences in the first case on behalf on the passing of my colleague. Many persons have asked me to extend the condolences or to pass on the condolences to CC's family. And I, on behalf of the family, we really appreciate all that you have said, that you have done. And as I've said, we will continue to praise him and recognize all the good he has done. Now, having said that, let me tell you, I have so much to tell you this morning. So much to tell you. I have so much to say, Bob Marley. We have so much things to say right now. I have a lot to say. And when we have finished the formalities, that is a brief recognition of those who have been here very early and make some announcements. I'm going to dive into the issues that we have to deal with this morning. As I continue to tell you, I was here on Friday. And what happened between Friday and now? So many things have happened that we got to bring you up. I have to bring you up to date with all that has transpired. And don't forget, last Monday, we had funeral. Last Monday, we were putting down our dearly departed brother. And many people have said, and I concur, that he had a grand send-off. He had a grand send-off, and he must be smiling from wherever he is, right? We did him justice. So welcome. Let me see those who came early. Let me acknowledge those who came very early. And then we're going to go, continue to say we, right? I'm going to go into the details of some of the issues that we have to discuss today. I continue to say we, forgive me. Jakey was the first man here. Jakey first listed at 9. Then it was Ambassador Wayne from the UK, Ulrich, Westdam in the house. Umi is here, Kurt, Hazel, Peter. Then we have, after Peter, is Danny. Danny say he's watching us in St. Kitts. Enjoy, Danny, enjoy. Gibbo is here, Richard, Earl, Nicola, Joan from New Amsterdam, Raul, 11752. Then it was Puran from the Essequibo Coast, Norville, Marcia, Felicia, Pamela, Westdam in the house, Ivor, then is Claire, Sean, upstate New York, Doreen from Canada, Compton, Ivor, this is the next Ivor, he's from Georgia, say Region 11, Marcus, Cecile, Clifton, all the way from Paris, then it was Henrik, Moses, Vashti, Courtney, Vibert, and this is Vibert John, Orin all the way from the UK. Then we have Fergus. The angel is here with us. Then this is Lincoln, Shavani, Princess, Lamar Springs, John, Carl. And all those persons came in within the first minute. And then when the doors were open, let me see how they filed in. Orderly they were, filed into the classroom and took up their seats to get the credible and valuable information. So I'm scrolling through, trying to find the list as I go through the register to see the ones that appeared first in the classroom. And there are so many people to scroll through. I am scrolling. I now reach that. First man listed, Abu from the Essequibo Coast. Abu is listed as the first person on Facebook into the classroom. It was Nicola. Denise, the secretary, is here. Lorelli, Matthew, Edward Charles. Then it was Colvis, Claire. Then who else? We have Rhonda. There after Rhonda, we have listed Yolanda. Welcome, early people. There, Carlton Popo, always very early. Umur, Simon. Then we have the Marina, George. We see then Umur, Trifosa, Commissioner Cole, Jean, and the list goes on and on. These are the people who came in early, both in the schoolyard and in the classroom, and they are hereby acknowledged. Then let me tell you all the announcements. You know, by now you all know the format. I will start with updating you on the days that since Sergeant Vaughan was killed. Today is 820 days, 2 years and 90 days since Police Sergeant Vaughan was killed. They say by accident, and since then it has been silence, the silence of the lambs, the sound of silence, whatever you want to say, silence, all this time. Family have not heard anything. And again, I say this, and I'll comment on it about the problem silence causes when I go a little later. What is wrong with updating the public, updating the family on what the position is? We have come to the end because of this. What is wrong with that? That is how a professional organization would have operated. But the police force as currently exists, as currently constituted with the leaders and so on, they know about professionalism. That would have been a routine thing. This is what we have done. We have completed our investigations. We have sent the file for legal advice. We have not received legal advice as yet, or we have received. This is the advice to order an inquest. That is all you need to do. That is all you need to do if you are professional. If you are. But clearly you're not, and therefore that is why we have that. I will continue to mention it. Every day that I come here, I will continue to count up the days. And then we have 58 days. 58 days since the son of the Minister of Home Affairs, right? Minister of Home Affairs, Onij Waldron. Our son he's alleged to have taken a government vehicle. He drove the vehicle into the trench on Vicington Road, damaging the vehicle, and we have not heard any official word on that. The president did say sometime after that the minister did not intervene. So he's satisfied that the minister did not intervene, and that was that. He did also say that the traffic chief, that's the president, he told us that the traffic chief will give an update and so on. Up to now, the traffic chief has not given an update. And that is, this incident occurred around April the 12th, right? April the 12th this year. And don't forget, I'll tell you how to 624 days. That is 1 year, 254 days since Marshal Ali Kak, who was reported to be either the biological or foster son. In some places like in the US and so on, they're going to foster. The son of the Minister of Home Affairs, right, involved in a fatal accident at LBI Public Road, where he drove a vehicle. This is on September the 29th, 2024, took the life of Shamila Irlal. He killed that woman, and we understand that the file went to DPP, and we understand that the matter should have been filed in court, and then everything went blank, disappeared. Everything disappeared. I am going to continue to mention these things, because if we're talking about living in a democracy, they talk about one Guyana. It is one Guyana indeed. One for them, it is all for them alone. And therefore, some people can operate with impunity. They can kill people on the road. They can damage government vehicle. Policemen can get killed and all of that. And nothing. There's no accountability. But this program, I will continue to highlight, right? And people tell me, say, "Bye, you're not afraid." Afraid of what? Afraid of speaking the truth? Why should I be afraid of speaking the truth? I'm not afraid of speaking the truth, right? I challenge them to come and contradict anything that I see on this program. CC and I used to do the same. Anything we say, come and say we lie, come and say it is false. They haven't done so as yet. In 5 years plus, they have not done so as yet, right? They have not. Now and again, they send out some cockabelly for come and say, make stupid comments and so on. And students, we know how those people are treated. Expelled immediately. Expelled, right? We expel them immediately because we don't mind. I don't mind people coming and criticizing. I don't mind. But let's have constructive criticism. If I've said anything that is wrong, come and tell me you're wrong. And don't just say wrong. Tell me where I was wrong. You come and give me the facts. And I am man enough to admit when I am wrong and make the necessary apologies or correction. Yeah, so we understand that. So then we move on. Let me tell you about some. Mr. Trotz, retired Senior Superintendent Trotz, was buried on Saturday, right? And some people send the thing to me. I followed part of it on social media because it was on Zoom, I think it was, right? And as I had expected, at the church, there were two trumpeters there, presumably from the police band because they did not have on any uniform. They had on a kind of, think of a white shirt jack. And they blew the last post in the church. I am not surprised because they will do that as a means of saying the define slow. And define slow. I know what is the correct thing. And I mentioned on this program what is the correct thing. And many of you know. And go and research. Let them research and tell me that last post is supposed to be blown at the church. Not. It's supposed to be blown at the graveside. At the burial side is where the last post was blown. And last week, Monday, right? I know they're going to try to get back, last week, Monday, when the trumpeter and the choir turned up at CC's funeral, a family member asked me to tell them sorry, right? Sorry. Because I had said to the family member that the last post is to be blown at the graveside, and the graveside was on the West Coast Berbice. So we are coming with no shortcut. And what makes the thing even worse is that in Church's case on Saturday, the church was at Vidanook, and church was buried right nearby at Best Cemetery. So what is the problem? There couldn't have been any logistics problem for them to move from the church at Vidanook to Best to blow it at the correct place. No, but they just want to defy. They don't want to do the correct thing. And I said before, I'm saying again, if you're going to do something, do it correctly. Do it correctly. And the correct thing would have been for the last post to be blown at the graveside. That is why. All over the world, man. All over the world, that is how it is done. But they come with this unprofessional conduct. Even then, you're sending off a brother, a departed brother, and even then you try to do the right thing. Even then, you're not going to do the right thing. Right? But I'm going to talk about these things because, again, people, let me thank all of those who have reached out and said, look, they learned so much from this program and so on. But I am telling you, and most people know, you look at any funeral, any place in the world and see if last post is blown in a church. The last post is blown, as the name suggests, the last post is at the burial site just before the post is properly entombed, right? And to the students or people who have asked about 21 gun salute and so on, somebody messaged me yesterday and said maybe I need to remind them. I said, no, if you are a former member, you don't get 21 gun salute. The last post alone is blown. A serving member, they call it 21 gun salute because for a serving member, there would have been a firing party, right? That is policemen with rifles and so on. And at the appropriate time, the firing party would have let off the volleys. That is what you call the last post. But in the case of a former member, more person who is no longer serving, that 21 gun salute is not accorded. They asked about the flag, and I explained that again. The coffin for former member is not draped with the flag, with the police flag or the national flag. I said that the ex-police association has a flag, and on occasions, the ex-police association flag will adorn the coffin at the appropriate time during the service, right? That is what is supposed to happen. I told you too about the cushion with if the persons receive a national award, somebody from the military is there. I noted when retired Assistant Commissioner James Austin was laid to rest on the 31st of March, the other sergeant of police. And I can't recall ever knowing that a sergeant of police is there, right? It used to be somebody from the army. But I suspect that because Austin was a former member of the force, senior member of the Ghana Police Force, who received the national award, that is why they made the police went there. So I am just here to set the record straight. They can do whatever they want to do. They are in charge now. They will not be in charge forever. But I want them and the public to know what is the correct thing. And this is what I'm telling you is according to the manual that we follow and all the protocols that we follow. And the older people who are here and know me well know that back in the day, they used to call me, they used to teach me and call me Simpson. You know why they call me Simpson? Ivor, Percy, Simpson, Sparrow had a song. Simpson, the funeral agency man. So all them fine party and all these things I used to do. Myself and Tapin, Cadet Tapin, right? CC Squaddy. So in them days, we were in charge. I was in charge. He's the man with me, right? And nobody made out duties. So the funeral of policeman dies. We would decide, hey, Tiger, we used to call Tapin Tiger. Tiger, you take this one, boy. Then Tiger would say, Paul, you take this one. That is the way we operated. You take this one, I take this one. And we had smooth sailing. We will control everything. Fine party rehearsal, name the people from the fine party, we detail them, we do the rehearsal, and all of that for the fine party. Right? So, again, I say, I need to just make this thing, I just want to make it clear. So, Trots was buried on Saturday. Then we have, sadly, yesterday, I learned of the death of, many of you, the younger ones, I'm not going to know, Kenneth Arthur. Kenneth Arthur was a member of the Force 8201 Arthur. We used to Steezy and Carly talk at the tongue. A man who was never shy of a good conversation. Arthur was at the TSU, that's before I got to the TSU in 1974. Then he went to the Presidential Guard. And from the Presidential Guard, he was a member of the Guyana Defense Force. He joined the Army, right? In the days on the Force, he was an outstanding athlete, Kenneth Arthur. And then after he joined the GDF, and he was a very prominent member of the ex-GDF Association of America. Also, the ex-Police Association of the USA too, because I recall going to the club there years ago, and Kenneth was always there. And then GDF too, I think he was the Sergeant of Arms. Because the GDF, let me big them up, the ex-GDF Association, because this protocol in relation to when a former member dies, they follow it to the T. So whenever Kenneth is going to be laid to rest, perhaps the police can look and see how these things are done. They're going to have the Sergeant of Arms, they're going to have people posted around the coffin during the service. They do a fantastic job. So Kenneth has gone. He's from Northeast of Penitence. For those of you who went back in the day, Kenneth was from Northeast there, and he passed away yesterday morning. I saw Kenneth a few months ago somewhere. I can't remember exactly where, but he didn't look too well. And he did engage, as is customary, in a conversation. He's always willing to speak and talk and think. And then yesterday, two BV people, I learned yesterday afternoon of the death of Jim Hamilton. Jim, the brother of a squad mate of mine, W351, Sheila. And then he had Denzel, one of his brothers too. Denzel, I think, spent a short time in the force some years ago as well. So Jim passed away yesterday. And the younger people you might know Jim around the village as a very jovial man, and he bicycle, always teasing and always laughing, very jovial. But as a youngster, Jim met with an accident where in the days of train on the East Coast, the train ran over his instep and he lost a leg. He had a false leg all the years and so on. And as a little boy, I remember Jim well, I had an incident with Jim where we became good friends after. Good friends. When I in the village, he think Jim Compton Ogle. Pleasant people remember Compton Ogle. Rollox Bakery. Compton Ogle used to drive the van and deliver bread in the village. And I was a little boy, and the bread van broke down through the street, slow street there. And Compton put me to watchman the van until he go and get what he got to do. And Jim and them, I come, they want bread. And they tried to distract me, but I didn't move. And eventually they went and they took cake or bread and so on. And when Compton came, I told Compton what they did. In other words, I snitched on them. And I got some good knuckle. Boop, you like that. Boop, them big boy proper knuckle me and so on. But Jim was part of that. Yeah, but Jim was always a jovial and good man in the village here. So Jim has passed. Let me move to the up here announcements, and then I'll come back because I want to say something about this 7-year-old who was murdered recently. I want to say something about that. And there's also the matter where we reported of a murder, Lane, Amelia, about that too. But let me go straight to the more pleasant announcements, and then I'm going to come back to that, right? Let me look for the birthday greetings. I don't think we have none for today, but advanced birthday greetings are going out to retired Senior Superintendent Julius Wright. Julius Wright is going to be observing, I think it's tomorrow. We also have an advanced birthday greeting going out to Noel Harding. Noel was a rank working with media in A Division. I think he was in the CID. Noel, and one of our loyal students is going to be observing a birth anniversary tomorrow. I think it is Heather Rowe is going to be observing a birth anniversary tomorrow. So to all those who observed today, do observe recently, and who are going to be observing in the near future, happy birthday to you. And some more pleasant announcements before I go to deal with this gruesome killing of this 7-year-old. Cricket, as we had predicted, cricket fans, the test match between England and New Zealand. Well, it went into day 4, but the only reason it went into day 4 is because day 3 was almost washed out. I think they had just a couple of balls bowled in day 3, right? And I noted some of the cricket commentators and writers are very critical of the Lord's pitch, and they go on to say that for the past couple of seasons, the pitch has not been what is expected, what is normally expected to be. That is that Lord's the home of cricket, right? So that is what happened. West Indies played, as we had said, Sri Lanka. They lost the first match. The second match was washed out, and I think today is the third match. We have a lot of cricket going on, man. We have a lot of cricket. Then we have basketball. Hey! Knicks, when we were here on Friday, we said that the Knicks were up 1, and they were playing the second game Friday night. Let me say this to the basketball fans, and I said this to my son, right? Knicks won that game by 1 point. Came right down to the wire. And let's talk about Wemby. Wemby's a young boy, 7 feet tall, lot of talent and so on. But some people were comparing him with some of the greats. And let me say this, and I might offend some. He hasn't reached the stage yet. He has a lot to grow. Because, why I said that? Because that last shot that he had to make, if he had made it, then the San Antonio would have won. And he missed the shot. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and some others, they didn't miss in that under those circumstances. One shot to fire off. Because they had, when the shot was made, they just had about 7 seconds more in the game. And therefore, once that shot was successful, once it was made, that would have been the game because they hadn't enough time to go down and score. And he missed the shot. And therefore, I am saying this. He has a lot of potential, no doubt. He has height in his favor. He's very athletic and so on. But Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, that's what I call a clutch shot. And missing that for nothing. The shot that matters to win the game, missing? No. So let's see how the game will go. Tonight is the third game. Confusion in New York around the Madison Square Garden because it was reported that the president, Donald Trump, will be going to the games. And they have said that the security arrangement around there are tight as it could be, right? So they say to get into the area is airport-like security. You gotta go through magnetometers and all sort of check. No backpack, no all sort of thing. A lot of restrictions for the people going there tonight. And in case you want to go, let me show you a short video which tells you about how you can get your ticket. Listen to this.
We have never seen anything like this in NBA history because this is the most expensive basketball ticket in the history of the NBA. The cheapest get-in price for Game 3 of the NBA Finals between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs in the Mecca, the Garden, $9,365, which is just mind-boggling. It's berserkers. You're paying above Super Bowl price for 1 out of 7 of the NBA Final games. It's not even a closeout game. It's just the first game back, NBA Finals game back in the Garden. in 25 years. But the crazy thing is that the cheapest courtside seat right now, if you want to sit the best seat in the house courtside, you're paying $500,000, which is just insane. And here's the thing: these tickets are not going to get cheaper. They're just going to they're going to go up more. Game 4 will be more expensive. Game 6, oh my God! If there's a Game 6 closeout in MSG, forget about it. You have to sell your soul to get into that stadium, and it's actually cheaper to fly to San Antonio, stay at a hotel, buy a good seat for there, and go on the road and see them on the road versus seeing them in the Mecca. So insane.
So those of you who want to go, you gotta sell your house, I guess. Sell your car, sell your house. But see, Sean, maybe y'all could present me with a ticket, man. Let me go and see the game. Y'all, as I always said, doing so good as a teacher and so on. Present me with a code side. But I'm gonna take a upside ticket to the top. Give a ticket, man, for go 9,000 plus for a ticket. 9,000, that is what it is. Basketball mania in New York. So yeah, that's a bit of sports. And don't forget, this week we are into FIFA World Cup. This week the first match kicks off on Thursday at 3 p.m. And who playing 3 p.m.? Mexico versus South Korea. 3 p.m. that is in Mexico. And then the night, Thursday night at 10 p.m. Is Mexico versus South Africa. Mexico versus South Africa from 3 p.m. And then it's going to be South Korea versus Czech Republic from 10 o'clock the night. A sports fan, you just follow the sports. I follow soccer. They call them soccer. We call it football. I don't follow football, right? Which is the American football. I don't follow football. I don't know the game. I don't follow it. Basketball, of course, cricket, golf, all of those things. I follow athletics and I follow all of those things. So, yeah, I bought maybe some chocolate money or some because not only chocolate making money, holy water. I'm going to tell you all about that and some do type holy water. So yes. We have all of those things. But let me go back to this thing that I promised to tell you about the death of this 7-year-old boy. It was reported 7-year-old boy, police reported suspect. Police are reporting that a suspect confessed to the killing of this 7-year-old. And yesterday on social media, Melly Mel, we all know Melly Mel on social media, very popular social media influencer. She came out with a live statement. She made some damning allegations. She claimed that at that time she said somebody had confessed, by which time the police had not said so. She said somebody had confessed, and then she went on to give certain details, and she claimed that certain senior people were trying to cover it up. So the police then came out with a press release. Let me read what the police said sometime yesterday afternoon. GPF rejects false, misleading claims in Zealot murder probe. That is the headline. Then it goes on to say the Ghana Police Force has taken note of a Facebook live video, which was later posted on social media today, Sunday, June 7, 2026, featuring an individual known as Melly Mel in relation to an ongoing murder, an attempted murder investigation. The force categorically rejects the reckless and unfounded claims made in the video, including suggestions that the investigation is being covered up, manipulated, or that Detective Senior Superintendent M. Caesar, who is one of the senior investigators assisting with the matter, is engaged in any improper conduct. This relentless campaign by this so-called social media influencer against members of the Ghana Police Force is patently false, irresponsible, and serves only, serve only to mislead the public, right? The English ain't too proper. They say campaign, the relentless campaign, and then they say the campaign serve. Campaign got the serves. I just tell you all about this thing, I don't know who does vet these things before they go out. Subject and verb agreement. If this relentless campaign, that is the subject. So the verb, irresponsible, and serve, it can't be served. It has to be irresponsible and serves only to mislead the public, attack the character of a senior investigator, and create unnecessary distrust at a time when investigators are actively working to ensure that justice is served. Detective Senior Superintendent Caesar remains a senior and experienced investigator who was a judge best cop of the Guyana Police Force on 2 occasions and was also the runner-up top Caribbean crime fighter in the year 2017. As always, executed his duties professionally and lawfully. Therefore, any attempt to malign his character or undermine his role is strongly condemned. The Guyana Police Force assures the public that this matter is being thoroughly investigated and all lawful lines of inquiry are being pursued. Members of the public are urged to reject speculation, avoid spreading unverified claims, and rely only on official updates from the Guyana Police Force. Well, let me start off at the bottom. They say you must rely on official updates from the Guyana Police Force. That is hardly ever forthcoming. I mentioned earlier the Sergeant Vaughan killing, how many years ago. The police are not known to come up with updates on the matter. For example, in a matter like this, if you want to talk about releases and so on, on a matter like this, the gruesome nature of this child's death would have demanded in a professional setting that the commander, some senior person, the very day the body was discovered, to face the media and give some details about it. That would have been demanded of a professional police force. That. Now the comment say Melly Mel telling lies and so on. But again, I say, she said that the suspect had confessed even before they issued the release. So therefore, they come later and said the man confessed. So at least that part what she said was true. That part that she said was true, right? But again, in the absence, let me say something. Because this police force in particular, under this current leadership, they are reluctant to issue and to release basic, timely information. And my training is, because when I did media training, when I was at the Staff College in the UK, the BBC conducted that interview thing and do part of that. And when I was at the FBI Academy, get a guy there, Vance, an old Marine, he did it, and the CNN was involved in it they did something with it. And they always tell you, as policemen, when these things happen, as senior policemen, get ahead of the game. Get ahead, come out and say what you know. Because if you don't do that, people are going to speculate. People are going to come up with all type of speculation and all sorts of rumors. And they do that because you create the environment for that to happen. But they don't do that. So when Melly Mel came out and Melly Mel said what she had to say, they decided they're going to fire and they're going to lash Melly Mel. And then I don't see the need. Look, this fourth paragraph, Detective Senior Superintendent remains a senior and experienced investigator who would have just best cop. What are they going to do with it? What are they going to do? You try to burnish his reputation now? There have been so many allegations of criminality against Caesar, so many. Don't forget Boston made an allegation that Caesar took 30 million from Azzuddin Mohammed to cover up People Shah's murder. What happened? And there have been other allegations. Well, with that allegation, what happened? They charged Boston for cybercrime. Never investigated it. They charged Boston for senior crime. A detective sergeant who was there as part of the investigation came out as a whistleblower, and they went after the whistleblower. It's been alleged that the same Caesar when they begin up there now was pulled in for fitness by the U.S. federal authorities when he was passing through the U.S. Pulley questioning at length. Remember? Pulley in and questioning at length. It is said that his visa has been revoked and all of that. So, come on, police, calm down. We know what we're talking about, you know. We know who these people are. So don't come to try to hoodwink we. We know who the people are. Many, many, many allegations. I only mentioned a couple there. Many, many, many allegations against Caesar and others, and no proper investigation. And that is the problem. As policemen and other people, allegations are going to be made. Some people make a lot of false allegations. They come and they make allegations against you and so on. Not true. But the important thing is that the allegations should be properly investigated. And when certain allegations are made, people must be able to say, nah, man, not that man. Let me tell you an example about that. I like relate these things. I was a traffic chief. Ronald Gadraj, the same notorious Ronald Gadraj, was Minister of Home Affairs. And then he addressed the senior officers upstairs, what we call the Light Barker Hall. This is at the top of the officer mess to the southern section. And during his presentation, he said that somebody told him of a senior officer in traffic who had run-ins with driver's license and all this other thing. He did not mention the name. And I was a traffic chief, so I was surprised. Who is this man and thing? So when his presentation was finished, I tackled upstairs. We had a very good relationship. I said, Minister, you can't do me that. He laughing. I said, if there's a senior police officer in traffic who's involved in illegal activity, you got to tell me, man. You got to tell me so I could deal with it. He laughed. I said, man, Minister, tell me who is the man. These people. He laughed. He said, they say you. He said, me? He said, you don't have to worry because I told them. That's what Gadraj is telling me. I told the man right off. No. Not he. Anybody else. Not he. That is what how people count and bat you. This Gadraj batting for me when somebody got make false allegation. He said, nah. You think when allegations are made against some of these people in the force now, including Caesar, anybody can say, no. He would not be involved in that. It's about character. It's about credibility. So we understand that clearly. So you come out and beating up on the Melly Mel. And they call she what? Melly Mel, they call she a so-called influencer and all this type of thing. Right? They call it feature the individual known as Melly Mel in relation. You say it's reckless and all that type of thing, and they say this so-called social media influencer. I don't know how you call Melly Mel a so-called. Melly Mel, without a doubt, in the Guyanese context, is one of the most popular social media influencer. Whether you like what she say or not, that cannot be denied. That cannot be denied that Melissa Atwell, known as Melly Mel, is one of, if not the most popular social media influencer in Guyana. But the Guyana Police Force is coming out to say this relentless campaign by this so-called social media influencer against members of the Guyana Police Force. Like against members of the Guyana Police Force. If they do wrong, I just talk out against people who do wrong too. If you do wrong, you got to call them out. Although we can call them out and we know no action is going to be taken against them, but we're going to still call them out. So Guyana Police Force, and then here, following this gruesome murder, right? As was to be expected, politicians, including the leader of the opposition, I think including Minister of Social Service, they went there to the family. And I saw people making comments. I think my by not 00 not Bond, James Bond, license to lick Bamzi, license to lick Batty 00 not come out and they talking about politicizing this thing. And I said, let me say this to all and sundry. Right? Let me say this to all and sundry. All the politicians, every single one, whether they are from the WIN Party, PPP, PNC, Coalition, AFC, wherever they're from, once you see they turn up at the death to sympathize, it's politicization. They're politicizing the thing. That's my view. Because if you don't know this person, they didn't know them when they were alive, they didn't even know their family. They know them from Adam. They don't know nobody. But a death occurs and they turn up. Why do you think they're turning up? They're turning up because they are politicians and they want to express condolences and so on. And they want to see if they can get some sympathy down the road. They are going to give the sympathy now, see if they can get some sympathy vote down the road. That is how the thing works, in Guyana especially. So don't come when Azudin Mohammed turns up or somebody else turn up and say, oh, that thing, they're politicizing the thing and all this. That is how the game is done in Guyana. That is the reality. Because again, I say, you don't know them, you don't know the family, you don't know nobody, but then you hear about the death, and the manner of the death will cause some national outrage. So you turn up to say that you were there. Kilroy was there. You turn up to be there. Why are you there? They're politicizing the thing. So they come to this crap where you're talking about single out, right? Once you turn up, well, I don't forget, when all the tapes are, we forget to upload it, perhaps the next time. When Adriana Young was killed. If I recall correctly, the following morning, Vidya Prasad turned up. Priya Manichan turned up. Later on, Irfalali turned up to the family. What do you think that they're doing? They got it for help solve the crime? They were politicizing it. Right? So don't jump up and make all sort of stupid thing. Right? Don't jump up and make any stupid comment. Because I dare for put a lash in your backside when you do that. Now let me move on. Where do I go next? I have a lot to talk about. Now let me say this. I saw something. I told you all about this murder at Lovers Lane. And let me pull up something that I observed. And this is a caution to some of these some of these people mean well, you know. Some of the writers and so on. But many times y'all just convey the wrong impression. I have a problem with y'all use of the word alleged. How it is used sometimes, alleged. Let me read this part. And this guy who wrote this here, I know he means well, but I gotta talk about it so that everybody can understand. Jonathan D'Souza charged with murder, remanded to prison. This is Jonathan D'Souza is a man charged with this what they call the Lovers Lane murder at the Amelia's Ward. Here what the article, very short article. Jonathan D'Souza, called Johnny, 38, unemployed of Lovers Lane, South Amelia's Ward, Linden, has been charged with murder, contrary to common law. D'Souza was arrested on Sunday, May 31st, 2026, in relation to the alleged murder of Wayne Treving Wilson of Scheme Hill, Wismar. Now, again, he charged a murder, and then you say he arrested for alleged murder. It's murder. Let me understand this thing. Sometimes the word alleged might be appropriate, but if a body is found with bullet wounds, there's only two things can happen there. It's either the person committed suicide, or so it's either suicide or a murder. Let me understand. Now, no alleged, and in some cases, yeah, you might have alleged because you might not be sure what is the cause of death. But from the time the postmortem is done, and the doctor give you the cause of death due to gunshot wounds, and then he says it's not self-inflicted, or due to blunt trauma or something like that, the doctor comes out hemorrhage, and it's murder. It is murder. No alleged murder. Alleged is only used when you're not sure what it is. It is alleged. But once you are certain, for example, as I've said again, a body is found with multiple gunshot wounds. It can be suicide. It can be suicide. It can be no death by misadventure. It's a homicide, not necessarily murder. It's a homicide, meaning a killing of a human being by another human being. So understand this. So when you are right, again, I say there are cases where you might use the word alleged correctly, alleged murder, because you're not sure what is the cause of death. Person is found, you suspect is a murder, but until such time that the postmortem is completed, you're not sure what is the murder. But from the time the postmortem is completed and the cause of death is given, then you know whether it's murder or not, or whether it's homicide or not. So don't come when you know a man charged with murder, he's charged with murder, and then you come in and talk about investigating alleged murder. No alleged no more. It is not no alleged murder anymore, right? So let me understand this, the use of these words. You're a little loose when you use the thing sometimes. But you know, as CC and CC used to say, I am saying, we were taught statement analysis. And we don't just read. We read, we internalize, we analyze. Right? So we don't just read. We read and we analyze. So let me understand this clearly, yeah? Especially for the journalist friends them. Sorry, I have to come, I ain't call no name, but y'all gotta know who we're talking to. Make sure you use these things correctly. Don't just come, because when Slow read it, Slow is going to identify if there's any error, and I'm going to highlight it. And I ain't highlight it to embarrass nobody. I am highlighting it to educate others, because some of you might not have the training and so on, right? You're a little careless in your writing. Now let me move on. I saw this one here too yesterday, I think it was, right? Yesterday I saw this one. Father calls for justice. Father calls for re-investigation into allegation involving police officer. Want justice for daughter. The father of a teenage girl has renewed calls for justice in a matter involving Corporal 25126 Sajim Khan of the Mabaruna Police Station, Region 1, expressing dissatisfaction with the way the case is being handled. According to the man, following an incident that came to light in September 2025, his daughter, who was 15-year-old at the time, was taken to protective custody and was only recently released under certain conditions. He contends that while his daughter faced consequences arising from the situation, Khan has continued to perform his duties as a police officer and was reportedly promoted despite the allegations against him. The father maintains that his daughter was below the age of consent and is calling on the relevant authorities to re-examine the matter and ensure that justice is served. He further alleges that the investigation was not handled satisfactorily and has questioned why no criminal charges have resulted from the case. The man also raises concern about what he believes to be the preferential treatment, alleging that Khan's relationship with senior police officers or senior police officials may have influenced the handling of the matter. These claims have not been independently verified. The allegations stem from an investigation launched by police after Facebook post surfaced on September 27, 2025, involving Khan and a 15-year-old, 11-month student in a hotel. At the time, the gender-based violence unit at the Mabaruma police station initiated inquiries and conducted a preliminary interview with the student in the presence of her parents. The father says he remains committed to pursuing the matter and is urging the relevant authorities to revisit the investigation. We all may remember that incident where the police corporal, I don't think he was a corporal at the time, was in an uncompromising position with this underage girl. And I said I'll talk about it because when I read the article on social media and I look at the comments, and the name of some of the people making the comments suggests that they are female. And it further suggests that many of them are female of the same ethnicity as this girl. And here, some real insensitive. Oh, look how she is smiling. She didn't like what is going on. Those are the comments that are there. The issue is, if she is below 16, the law says that she cannot give consent to sex or any relationship of that nature. Because we know if intercourse took place, but being found as they say, in a hotel with a police corporal Khan, a man who there with Ramana, because we saw the picture during election time, with either posing with red cup and all them type of thing, blatantly showing the preference for the PPP. It is inappropriate. And based on what I say, we're not sure any action was taken against the corporal Passad, because, as the man rightly said, he got promoted. He's corporal. I don't think he was corporal at the time. He got promoted. So I say again that this type of conduct is rewarded by this corrupt PPP administration. Rewarded. And I say PPP administration because remember, in July of last year, in the run-up to election, the president got an order 2,800 policemen promoted. Right? 28. So they got to share the blame when all of these things happen. Promoted them. This man up in this little girl, right? Posing with picture and so on. And I recall too that the Minister of Home Affairs, the current Minister of Home Affairs, Onij Waljan, made a statement when that scandal broke at the police training facility, where you get all sorts of lawlessness going on. Videos surfaced with a person alleged to be a trainee, giving heads, you know what I mean, oral sex in the college. The video was there. I still got it someplace. And even before that video surfaced, the people named a senior police officer has been having an inappropriate relationship with trainees. And the minister is on record as saying that any such relationship, well, even before that too, because this relates to some allegation where a junior rank under the senior officer was a big nasty scandal where her husband found some compromising video or some message on the phone, which linked his wife to the senior officer. And then the wife, who works with the senior officer said that the senior officer is blackmailing she for this relationship. That is what she claimed. And the minister is on record as saying any such relationship between a senior officer and a junior person is a violation of the Sexual Offences Act. In other words, she said it is criminal. That is what the minister said. And what happened? What has happened? I'm not aware that anything has happened in the matter. What has happened? Right? So again, they come and they talk and they talk and they talk. But this matter, and we have many agencies, well, at least a few agencies like Red Thread and all of them, who are supposed to be looking into the interests of women and girls. Where are they when these things happen? When things like these happen? There. Because the police have to investigate, we know what can happen. They said the gender-based unit in the same division where this man walk in, conduct the initial investigation, where they ain't going no place. They ain't going no place. Right? But the father has come out now, and the father is calling for the investigation to be reopened, which suggests that the investigation might have been closed. I don't know who closed it, because I remember too, at the time, we were told that the gender-based unit traveled to, or from some unit from the ministry, traveled there once this matter was exposed on social media to conduct an investigation. And the girl declined. The mother refused to allow the girl to interact with them. The mother, that is what we were told, that the mother refused. And people make a lot of questions about the level of the mother's involvement in the whole thing, whether she facilitated the arrangement and all of that. But I'm saying, again, this two-tier system that we have, the corporal, was he still about there? He got promoted, he's still about there. And I can tell what the man name, the father name, whoever the father is, I don't think his name is mentioned. Sir, I sympathize with you, but me I know that this going any place. Because this is since September last year. We into June 2026. I know that it's going any place. But that doesn't mean to say you must not continue to advocate for justice for your daughter. You will know what actually took place by now. You know the extent of the relationship. Inappropriate relationship. Inappropriate relationship. That is what we have. And let me show you another allegation of inappropriate relationship. This one was here for us to discuss some time ago, since CC was alive. We were to discuss this, but we kept putting off and putting off. Listen to this. This is an allegation. Listen to this.
Prophet. Between the age of 14 to 15, my grandson born before my daughter meets 16. Because why? I in the interior fighting for my children home, and my daughter on the phone and meet up with these people on the street is patrol police. Eventually, my daughter become pregnant. I'm still minding my grandson, He's probably 14.
How old was your daughter when the police impregnated her? The policeman named
She was
Prophet?
14. She was 14 going
years.
into 15. Going into 15, and this child born before she meets 16, the following year, August.
And Prophet is still a policeman?
Yes, he's still a police. Many times I went out to the commander. The commander tried to stam on him. Every time the commander would try and call for him, he always hiding. He always hiding. He support her during pregnancy when I had on this in Linden. When these guys end up getting murdered on the road. Yeah. It was an investigation, police from town and everything. He was on half-month salary. Then they transfer him to Kokwani. He did the same thing in Kokwani. Years after he came back to Linden and feel that I would have forget him and forget about it. Until now, my grandson don't get support. I visited the commander. I took my grandson to him. He asked for me to go back 2 Thursdays after, but I wasn't feeling well. So I didn't follow up until when I went back to him, call his phone Thursday morning to tell him about this incident. He said, Miss Marciano, I work all night. And try and go to at the station, see Sergeant Elias and all, let your son and them little boy done this nonsense, done this little by strictness. But Elias didn't do it. Because remember what going on Remember, it's a business. It's a business, Mr. Brown. It's a business.
Well, you heard another allegation again of this policeman who is alleged to have impregnated this 14-year plus girl. That is what I mean. Again, I say the issue is allegations are made and no proper investigation is done. That is criminal. That is statutory rape. Statutory rape, because the law presumes that a girl under 16 cannot give consent to sex. And in an investigation like that, once she makes the allegation and the parents produce the birth certificate, and you see that at the time of the act she was below 16, they're going to, if not, buff about it. Whether, and some people said with this girl, the last girl there with the police corporal, how she looked big, regardless of how she looked, it is statutory rape. And these things are happening and nothing is being done. Nothing is being done. And again, the minister, a female, one would have thought that a female minister would have shown more interest in matters like these. A female minister would have shown more interest in the allegations of sexual impropriety at the training facility in Region 1. But apparently this minister, as I have said before, she had military training. She came into the office, she just fall in and cover down. And for those of you with some little military training could understand what I'm talking about. She fall in and cover down, or she fell in. Let me use proper English. She fell in and she covered down. In other words, she went there and whatever was going on, she just continued the same thing. She just continued. She fell in line and is continuing. No interaction with the media, no call for investigation, nothing. That is what is being good. That is what is good. But we have a duty. I have a duty to make sure that this is, and I'm doing this thing because, not because I hate anybody in the police force. Let me understand this thing clearly. But I'm saying that unless these matters are addressed and addressed properly, people are not going to have confidence in the force. And if you don't have confidence in the police force, they cannot dispatch their duty as required. Because nobody is going to report. So it's used to say people have mouth who will not speak, ears who will not, ears that will not hear, eyes that will not see, all of these things. So it is important that these matters are dealt with. You have rogue elements, deal with them. Deal with them. Get them out of the system. I'm not advocating for anybody to be railroaded, for anybody's rights to be violated, but there are procedures, either criminal or departmental, that should be put in place to get rid of them. Everybody, because they know somebody and they get doing all sort of crap, and then every now and again, you hear somebody get charged with taking bribe or something. But the rot is serious, and you need to deal with it. That is the reality. You need to deal with it, right? So I thought I'll mention that too. Now let me go on. On the last occasion, I think it was Friday, I told you all about my traveling experience. I told you too about the renewal of my driver's license and how smooth the process went. GRA Smythe Street. I told you too about some years ago when I renewed my passport, smooth, and I told you that I did not have to pay. I was surprised on both occasions because I did not remember that being a senior citizen, I am a senior citizen, right? You don't have to pay. And I was reminded that it's the coalition government introduced that to say that once you are a senior citizen, you don't have to pay for the renewal of your driver's license. You don't have to pay for a passport. Well, you don't renew passports, so you don't have to pay for a passport. That's a nice information too. Passports are not renewed now. Long ago, you have a passport and the expiry date reaches, and it had pages, you can go and get that book renewed. But that don't happen now. You have to get a new passport. So let me understand it clearly. Passports are not renewed. You get a new passport. So when you go for your passport now, you don't have to pay if you're a senior citizen. So senior citizens, we get the advantage, man. Don't mind they just come, they just call you geriatric, or they just call you anything. Our faculties are intact. And once your faculties are intact, you have to thank God for that. You have to thank God because many of them, they are not geriatric. They're young. They look sprightly. They're young and they look sprightly. But they mix with goat. They're dunce. they are duns that makes it good. So the faculties are not there. So those of us who have been privileged to reach geriatric state, let's enjoy. Let me enjoy it. Now I expect that let me see one more. I got many more things to talk about, you know. But I almost forget this one. I saw a report yesterday. Let me see. I think I got it. Hold on, man. I saw a report yesterday that what did it say? Hold on. I saw a report yesterday though that somebody threw a bag or somebody threw a parcel or something into the compound of the U.S. Embassy in Georgetown. I saw that, right? Here it is. It reported a man arrested after throwing bag over U.S. Embassy perimeter, embassy place on lockdown. Police have taken a man into custody after he threw a black plastic bag over the perimeter fence of the U.S. Embassy in Georgetown on Sunday evening, prompting a security response and a temporary lockdown of the diplomatic facility. According to information received, the incident occurred around 6:10 p.m. at the Duke Street, at the Duke Street entrance of the embassy, when the suspect, identified as Saley Anthony Brown, tossed the bag over the compound's perimeter. Security personnel and law enforcement officers responded, and the suspect was subsequently apprehended around 7:10 p.m. He is currently in police custody as investigations continue. Well, I saw the thing that it happened last night, and I wanted to know if this gentleman mistook the U.S. compound for a police station. I wanted to know that because let me see if I can find this to remind y'all what the instructions were sometime back. Hold on, are you bear with me, man? I get my partner to think at this stage. One moment. Aside, I was here aside this morning. Hold with me. Bear with me. These things do happen. My fault. I did not put it where it can be readily accessed. I left it there when I saw it this morning. Once I was satisfied that it is there, I think this is it.
What is preventing the holdup?
That is not it. That is not it. Y'all bear with me, man. I got to get this thing, man. I have to get it. I don't know how in heaven's name I forget to put the thing where I can find it. I'm talking about the instructions from Minister Ben. Remember what he said to people? I'm going to find it. So, but before I do that, while I look for it, let me update you on a matter. Remember, we had this issue with, I reported on the REOs, the regional executive officers, all except one. There are 10. Guyana is divided into 10 administrative regions, and each region has a regional executive officer. As the name suggests, he's the man who runs things and so on. A few weeks ago, they came out and told us that all of the regional executive officers were fired except one. Right? The one was from Region 9. That is the Latham area. And people wanted to know how come all these people fired and why this one man alone was left. Well, Member of Parliament Ganesh Mai Paul did a check in the area, and hear what he's reporting. Listen to it carefully.
We have all seen that there was a change in the regional executive officers across Guyana. 9 of our regions have new executive officers, except one, and that one is Region 9. I am here in Region 9. I actually came on a fact-finding mission. I want to understand why is it that Carl Singh, of all persons, remained as a regional executive officer. So I came on a trip to examine and find out what is it that he has that can be considered secrets in protecting the People's Progressive Party. I found out a lot of things, and I'm going to reveal them. First, I found out where is it he used to live before he assumed regional executive officer, and then I found out where he actually lives. In this video, you're going to see a smaller video where his house was before he became regional executive officer. And as you look and you see that right now as it scrolls through your screen, take a moment and let that sink in where he was. Today, after serving as regional executive officer for a mere 5 years into his sixth, this is the house that he now constructed. And that video is scrolling through your screen right now. But beyond that, there is more. Where I am standing right now is on the outskirt or the extreme boundary of what one calls a ranch, which I'm told is owned by him too, which I'm further told is where Irfan Ali would normally come when he comes to Region 9. And here is where he would stay. If you look closer, and I will try to take a picture, but you look closer, you're going to see a lot of small cabins that are erected here, owned by Carl Singh, as I am told, and outside of that there is a special breed of cattle that was brought from Brazil and is being reared by in-laws. This man has a powerful retirement plan in place. So the question is, how did Carl Singh accumulate this amount of wealth in such a short period of time? Corruption is what defines the People's Progressive Party. Carl Singh, as we know, is one of the lackeys of the People's Progressive Party. And from all indications, having heard from residents here in Lytton, it is quite clear that Carl has some secrets. I don't know what those secrets are, but I'd love for him to tell us. But it cannot be comprehended why you change 9 and leave just 1. There has to be a reason why that 1 is still in place. Do bear in mind, Region 9 also has the Murdudi Mountain Range. Region 9 also has several other mega projects that are going on. And we're closely bordered here by Brazil. And I heard of a lot of activities that Carl Singh is equally involved in. Now, is he one of the henchmen for Irfan Ali? I don't think we can doubt that, having taken a look at what it is that he possessed here in Region 9 after a short stint as a regional executive officer. We as Guyanese must take note that the wealth of our country is only in the hands of a few, whilst the majority continue to punish to make ends meet. We have seen the house where Carl Singh came from. We have seen what he has built after a mere 6 years as regional executive officers. We have seen the fleet of vehicles, the several vehicles that are parked in the yard, and now we're seeing the ranch, a huge piece of land space occupied by him, where it is alleged Irfan Ali would normally come whenever he's in Region 9. You be the judge, and you conclude why 9 went home and 1 stayed. And the one that stayed is Carl Singh, Regional Executive Officer of Region 9. Why? The answer you can decipher. Thank you.
Well, you already do it for yourself. I remember this Carl Singh is the same man who to shoot the woman in her stomach, I think, some time ago. Right? They had an incident in the same Latam area, and he shoot the woman, and me know what happened to the matter. I don't even know if he's still a licensed firearm holder, because I've said that even if the virtual complainant is a woman who was shot, indicated that she does not wish to pursue the matter, the police would have had the obligation to revoke the firearm license, because it shows careless use of a firearm and a gun. In my days, the firearm would have been seized, of course, because of the investigation. We get a statement from the woman, oh, I don't think, and so on. Carl Singh would have then gotten a statement from the commander for him to show cause why the license issued in relation to that firearm should not be revoked. He would have asked to show cause. But if the man get hookups and the man look like he doing run-ins to people, them things ain't gonna happen. Those things are not going to happen. That is the reality in this land that is not a real place. Not a real place. So there, let me tell you. I mean, Ganesh Mahipal is a politician, and like I say, we don't come and make false allegation. But we give you circumstantial evidence. A mere 5-6 years ago, the man living a thing, the man get big sprawling stuff and so on. How did he become of those things? Is he a chocolatier? Does he sell chocolate too? We got one like this chocolate business big. But he taking chocolate, selling chocolate, licking chocolate, eating chocolate, biting chocolate, whatever he doing. It seems as though this chocolate thing very lucrative. Many of us here wasting time. Chocolate is the way to go. Well, he get a little cows too. So like he get cow, he milking the cow, and the milk must be turned into chocolate, all sort of thing. But I am saying it is evidence prima facie, at least circumstantial evidence of corruption. Because if any proper investigation is to be done, I am sure that people like he can account for how they accumulate all and well. Them people better than Warren Buffett and all them big time investigate all those big time people in the States who invest. They're bigger than them investors because the type of turnaround, the type of profit they're making, they want us to believe they're making. It's remarkable. It is remarkable. Let me go back. I told you about this gun, well, not gun, man, the bag that was shown over the, let me read it back what it said so we can, because I found the video. Because they said that somebody threw a bag over the embassy fence. Man was he following Robeson Ben. Robeson Ben gave instructions. Listen to him. Listen to Robeson Ben. So maybe the man thought that was a police station.
In relation to gun crimes and the holding and having of illegal guns, we are not going to be doing any amnesty. Those who have guns and shouldn't have them should perhaps walk into the nearest police station and give them up or put them somewhere where they could be given up. You're not supposed to have any illegal gun. The question of having an illegal gun in most instances has nothing to do with being somebody in the bush and wanting to shoot wild hogs or whatever, or to get protein for food. It has to do with criminal activity. It has to do with criminal activity. If you have an illegal gun, pass by the police station, put it in a bag, and throw it in the yard.
Well, I suspect I ain't offering no defense to this man. When this man threw a bag over the fence, can remember the U.S. Embassy is very close to the police headquarters. Maybe the man believes it's the police station, and he following Robeson Ben advice for putting it in a bag and throw it over the fence. maybe that's what he's doing. He threw it over the fence. Because he heard what Robeson Ben, Shoot and Scoot Ben said. He follows Shoot and Scoot Ben. Well, let me move to the next subject. Yeah. I know many of you expected me to address this revelation, I must say, yesterday. Big issue all over the place. Commissioner, get doctorate. The man is one doctor. The man, I'm going to address it. And let me, this is not a disclaimer, but let me say this first. I know what I'm about to say. A lot of the sycophants, a lot of the people say, oh, slow eating and slow all sort of thing. I ain't doing that. All I will do shortly is to point out facts. That's what I like to deal with. I am going to point out facts. So yesterday, or maybe Saturday or something yesterday morning, I saw this release from the police that they're congratulating Clifton Ikin, who was awarded, they say, a doctorate. So I said, wait, Clifton is doing PhD? How come? I was a little baffled. So one for those, when this man get time to write the dissertation, present the dissertation, and defend the dissertation to be accorded this doctorate. I I was a little baffled, right? So I said, I didn't know that this man, that time, commissioner of police, for study and do all of that. I'm looking for something. I got to read something to you, Ali. I'm looking for it. Yeah, I know. But then yesterday morning, I saw a post on social media from the Honorable Onage Waldron, Minister of Home Affairs, and it reads thus: congratulations to Commissioner of Police, Dr. Clifton Anthony Ikin, on being conferred with an honorary degree, an honorary Doctor of Philosophy and Human Rights and Social Justice by International American University, a recognition of his contribution to leadership, public service, and institutional development. Here again what it says. She's congratulating Mr. Commissioner of Police, Dr. That's what she said, DR, Dr. Clifton Anthony Ikin, on being conferred with an honorary doctorate or honorary Doctor of Philosophy in Human Rights and Social Justice by International American University, a recognition of his contribution to leadership, public service, and institutional development. Well, I like my research. First, I wanted to know who are these people, International American University. So me do a little digging, and to find out that it's one of them obscure institutions along the way. And I did a little more digging to find out how you're gonna get how they confer this doctorate thing on you. And the man tell me, man, say, man, you can write to them. And when you write to them and a request to be recognized in this manner, and then they're gonna ask you for your resume, and then a fee is involved and all of that before you get it. Again, I am stating what I understand the system to be. And let me tell all of those who jumping up, maybe, yeah, you're going to want to congratulate me. But let me tell you all, it is not an academic achievement, right? It's an honorary degree, honorary doctorate. You ain't study nothing, you ain't write no dissertation, you ain't present no dissertation, you ain't defend no dissertation. Because I know, because I have had family members who were conferred with doctorate, not honorary doctorate, the real thing. They study, they wrote a dissertation, you have to present it before a body, you have to defend it before the body, then before they decide thing. And for the Minister of Home Affairs to address yesterday Mr. Clifton Ikin as Dr. Clifton Ikin. Minister, let me say this. I'm not surprised because the minister has an adversarial relationship with the truth. Let me repeat that. The Minister of Home Affairs, Onage Waldron, has an adversarial relationship with the truth. Y'all remember back in 2020? Yeah, I shoot it straight. Y'all remember back in 2020? She was sworn in as a member of parliament, having claimed that she did not have dual citizenship. She claimed that she was not a U.S. citizen. And then when the records revealed she was indeed a U.S. citizen, they had to revoke that appointment and then come back and appoint you again. Y'all remember? So she has an adversarial relationship with the truth. So when the minister come and say, Dr. Clifton Ikin, don't be surprised. I'm not surprised, right? I'm not surprised. And again, I say, I lay it bare, right? I lay it bare. Now, let me say this. It is well established in academia that when a person is accorded an honorary degree, it should not be used as a prefix to the name. I'm going to play you all something. It's not a slow saying. I'm going to play you all a few clips so you can understand how we're going to analyze. Let me play you. First of all, let me play this one, a short one.
Can you call yourself Drive with an honorary doctorate?
Accept the answers from us.
Honorary degree recipients are properly addressed as doctor in correspondence from the university that awarded the honorary degree and in conversation on that campus. But honorary degree recipients should not refer to themselves as doctor, nor should they use the title on business cards or in correspondence.
You hear that one? This one I'm going to play now gives a more fulsome explanation. Here we go.
The Council on Higher Education has recently released a paper on honorary degrees and professorship and the inappropriate use of academic titles. The awarding of honorary doctorates and professorships have largely been questioned because of the perception that they're sometimes used to gain sponsorship and funding favors for universities. Let's speak now to the Council of Higher Education CEO, Dr. Whitfield Green. Doctor, good morning. Welcome to Newsroom Africa.
Good morning, Master Chaba, and good morning to the viewers.
Now, firstly, how does the university decide to give someone an honorary doctorate? Who makes this decision?
Typically, universities would have set procedures within the institution, typically a policy, and the policy would specify how the award is determined and made. It differs across universities.
All right. Now, your organization released a specific paper addressing honorary degrees and the inappropriate use of academic titles. What exactly constitutes inappropriate use?
So, honorary degree would be inappropriately used outside of the context of the university which awarded the honorary degree. So honorary degrees can only be utilized in the context of the university, in engagements with the university, and in communications with the university. They should not be utilized outside of that context.
And should people with honorary doctorates, let's say, be allowed to use the title doctor in the same way as those who earn their degrees through research?
Yes, they can use the title doctor, but as I've just indicated, in the context of engagements with the university. They they shouldn't be using the title of doctor in other social spaces.
Now, Elon Musk's mother, I mean, this has got a lot of people talking, has been awarded an honorary doctorate by the University of the Free State. Do you believe, Doctor, that this award meets the standard criteria for such recognition?
I do believe that the University of Free State would have done due diligence in making that award. And they would have satisfied themselves that the criteria for award of honorary doctorates, particularly the requirement of the individual that's being awarded, having made a significant contribution to society, either in the academic space, in the social space, in the art space, in the cultural space, and so on. So I do believe the university would have done due diligence in that regard. And I do think that if there are questions on that the university should be requested to be transparent about the criteria that was applied.
Do you know perhaps what specific contributions she's made to academia, to society, or to her field that would justify an honorary doctorate from a South African university?
I'm not aware of the particularities of this case. Not having been party to the award or part of the evaluation process, that should best be answered by the Vice Chancellor of the university.
And to what extent, Doctor, in your experience, would you say that financial power influences such a decision?
This is one of the issues that the CHE has picked up. The document that you referred to, the Briefly Speaking article, is actually based on a good practice guide that the CHE is developing and will soon publish. And that good practice guide is based on research that the CHE conducted over the last 3 years. One of the problematic practices that's been observed, not just in South Africa, but worldwide, is that sometimes doctorates are conferred for reasons other than just honoring the person for a contribution.
And some of these reasons, let's just delve into them, because the perception exists that universities award honorary doctorates to gain sponsorship and funding favors. How widespread is this practice in South Africa?
So in the South African context, we did not pick this up as a major challenge. Generally, the practices that we investigated showed adherence to the underpinning logic of awarding an honorary title, honorary doctorate, honoring the person for a particular contribution. However, when you do the research and you do international comparisons, and particularly when you pick up the award of these kind of honorary titles by so-called bogus institutions or institutions operating on the borderline are outside of formal regulation, then you do pick up this trend of award for other reasons than particularly honoring the person that's being awarded.
So what safeguards do exist to prevent universities from awarding honorary doctorates based on celebrity status rather than substantive achievement?
So this is exactly what the Good Practice Guide is intended to achieve. It's intended to enable a much more standardized and uniform approach across the South African higher education sector in relation to the award of these degrees. And it puts in place guidelines such as universities must have clear policies in place. There must be process around a selection. The university community as a whole should be involved in identification and selection, and Senate should have a big responsibility in relation to making the ultimate decision. The Good Practice Guide also requires that universities should make open and transparent their processes of selection and award.
Now, do you think that perhaps there could be another way of honoring such people besides, according them the titles of doctor or professor? Because, I mean, some doctors and professors find it quite offensive because they went to school for years and years.
It's the reason why the space needs to have much more rigor. We do not want to compromise and undervalue the earned PhD, where people read for a PhD, they do the necessary research, they engage in international scholarship, they research into a novel area, and they produce a dissertation or thesis that makes a unique contribution. So the earned degree is something that could potentially be undermined if the honorary doctorate is abused.
Now, with that said, Doctor, should there be stricter national guidelines governing who can receive honorary doctorates from South African institutions?
That's exactly what we are putting in place. The Good Practice Guide is exactly about that. And then universities, and only universities, can offer honorary doctorates in South Africa. The Higher Education Act is clear about that. So we have 26 public universities. It's only those universities that can offer or award honorary doctorates. The Good Practice Guide is essentially about putting in place those national guidelines. And it is hoped that universities will take these guidelines on board and self-regulate in relation to these. However, if we do detect problems going forward, it might be that the ministry or the department might decide to formally regulate the space rather than utilize instruments such as guidelines.
Now, I know that this might be a little bit controversial, but perhaps necessary. Do you think that universities should be required to publicly justify their honorary doctorate decisions with detailed explanations of exactly how recipients meet the criteria?
I think part of the Good Practice Guide touches on that issue. The Good Practice Guide requires that institutions make public their policies around the award of honorary doctorates and make public the criteria in which they use to award these doctorates. The university should then also be able to, if there are questions about a particular award, to be transparent about why this person justifies the award.
Right. So you got a good background there as to how this thing is supposed to be done, this honorary doctorate degree and so on. I think that it is made clear. But let me say this. Y'all share the life, share. Again, I say I'm just setting the record straight. So if you believe I'm a hater, no. I'm setting the record straight because everybody jumping up, believing that this is some academic achievement. It is not an academic achievement. And do you know that in some places, right, they have criminalized, it is a crime to put doctor in front of your name when you receive an honorary doctorate degree. It is a crime. Nigeria is one such place, right? You use doctorate in front of your name when you have not read for a degree, which is not an academic degree, it's just an honorary degree. It is considered academic fraud, and you can be charged and jailed for that. Let me play another clip Clip, y'all share, man. Share the live. Share. Let me play another clip. You got to understand these things, you know. People come and they show a lot. You have to understand how these things work so that people don't pull wool over your eye. People don't pull wool over your eye. I have more to say about it. But let me play this clip first, not as long as the one before, for you to get even a better understanding. Here we go.
And in the education sector, the federal government on Wednesday announced a ban on honorary degree holders prefixing doctor to their names in official, academic, or professional usage. This decision was disclosed by the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, while briefing State House correspondents on the two memoranda he presented to the Federal Executive Council, FEC, at its meeting last Thursday, which were approved. According to him, the use of the title by such recipients constitutes a misrepresentation of academic credentials that would henceforth be treated as academic fraud with attendant legal and reputational consequences.
Council approval for the establishment of a uniform policy for the award and use of honorary degrees in Nigerian universities to safeguard academic integrity, restore public confidence, and eliminate the current trend of indiscriminate and unmerited conferment. Now, we know conferment of honorary degree has traditionally served as a means of recognizing distinguished contributions to the society. Also, these honorary degrees are awarded to people who have achieved distinction through outstanding intellectual and creative achievements, as well as people that have contributed in an outstanding manner to education, business, and public service. Now, of course, when universities award honorary degrees, there are benefits to such awarding institution. And I'll list some of the benefits, which include: it helps university widen their reputation and visibility. It also helps them to expand their funding opportunities because it attracts donations, endowment, and corporate sponsorship. Another major benefit is, to universities awarding honorary degrees is that it helps strengthen strategic relationship, as well as also help with student inspiration, because students can now see these awardees as their role model. It also helps to internationalize our universities because it attracts global partnership and recognition, as well as helping with academic enrichment. Now, these benefits would only materialize if honorary award process is credible, transparent, and merit-based. If it becomes politicized or commercialized, the risk of reputational damage, public criticism outweighs those benefits. And I'm going to talk about the recent trend. The recent trend we've seen with the award of honorary degrees have revealed a growing abuse and politicization of this academic privilege, leading to concerns over awards being used for political patronage or financial gain, as well as conferral of award on serving public officials. As part of the ethics of award of public honorary degrees, this should not be awarded to any serving public officials, but we've seen that misuse in the last several years. Also, as people were awarded these honorary degrees, they started misusing the acronym doctor, putting doctor in front of their name by honorary recipient, and awarding of degrees by institution. And also, we've seen that universities that were just opened about 5 years ago that do not have PhD programs are awarding honorary degrees. It's a misnomer. That should not happen.
Right. So again, it's not me talking, you know. There's something very interesting this gentleman just said. He said the awarding of an honorary doctorate degree to a public official is a no-no. Is a no-no. So who is this? Who are these people who made this award? Who are these people? And then they talk about a particular contribution. Now, the point that I found very interesting in this award, again, I just could say what you want. Well, them could say what they want to say, right? When they say that, this is what the minister said, Dr. Clifton Anthony Aiken had been conferred with an honorary doctorate of philosophy in human rights and social justice. I said, my Lord, human rights, Aiken? Human rights and Aiken? That is two poles apart. Aiken has been accused of so many human rights violations. Let me remind you all of some. First of all, before I remind you, if this university is going to talk about Aiken being rewarded, philosophy and human rights, I want to know what type of due diligence was done. What type of due diligence did they do? Aiken was accused of all type of human rights violation. Let me remind you about the Linden, the 3 men at Linden, July 18, 2012. See some people put it, Alan Lewis, 46, Shamrai Boye, 24, Ron Somerset, 18. Aiken was in charge of the police at Linden when they shot and killed those persons who were demonstrating at Linden. Y'all forget, it's only 2012 that happened. And you telling me that this man getting an honorary degree and y'all mentioning human rights in the thing? Human rights? So apparently no due diligence, whoever write and biggie up and pay whatever money they got to pay. Nah. And then I remember well, I had just left the force. I retired in 2010. This incident occurred in 2012. I remember it very well because thereafter there was a commission of inquiry, right? And Aiken went to that commission of inquiry and lied. A censor, he lied. He gave sworn testimony to say that at a particular time he never had a conversation with the Minister of Home Affairs, Clement Roy. That was under oath. He said I never had any such conversation. And the people did their work and subpoena the record from the telephone company. And the telephone company record showed that during that same space of time, Aiken spoke to Roy perhaps more than once. When he claimed that did not happen. When Roy was put on the stand, the records are there, man. When Roy was put on the stand, Roy then contradicted Aiken. Aiken said, yes. Roy said, yes, he spoke to me. And I say that was perjury. He lied on the oath. But what happened? Nothing happened. Aiken lied on the oath to say that he never had a conversation with Minister Roy during a particular period of time during the disturbance in Linden. And then, as I said, record check. Roy said, no, he had a conversation. So, all right, let me give you the benefit of the doubt. One of them lying. One of them lying. And based on the evidence that came forward, had to be like Aiken lying on the oath. So you talk about human rights? Commission of inquiry into the plot to assassinate the president. Aiken come and lie again. Well, again, let me say, either he or Silal Pusad lie. Because again, he claimed that he never spoke. I conducted that commission of inquiry. And he claimed that he never spoke to Silal about the matter. Right? And Silal come and say he did speak with him. So one of them lie. And I did make a recommendation for that to be investigated because both of them could not have been telling the truth. One of them had to have been lying. So the people talk about, again, human rights. So the question is, again, what due diligence was done? Aiken's name was called again in the Lindo Creek. He been as part of this party, Lindo Creek Massacre. Lindo. Let me play y'all the next tape, man. Are they in the mood to play these things today? Look, listen to this.
Silal Prasad, who was the crime chief in 2008, said he was instructed by the late Henry Green, the commissioner of police, to lead an operation to Christmas Falls in the upper Berbice River, where the notorious Feynman gang was said to be hiding out. Prasad, who is currently on pre-retirement leave, said he had mobilized a team consisting of Assistant Commander Clifton Aiken, Deputy Superintendent Withright, Inspector Lane, Inspector Narine, Assistant Superintendent Lowenfield, and Deputy Superintendent Nurse, and on June 5, 2008, they left Georgetown by road for Christmas Falls.
Early the following morning, Assistant Commissioner Aiken crossed the river in the boat that we took there. And shortly after that, I heard a series of gunshots, sounds, including rapid fire, that lasted for a while. I thereafter crossed the river using the same boat and observed that there was the body of a person I later learned to be Otis Fifi, called Mother, with a gunshot injury to his face.
After the shootout, Prasad said he contacted Commissioner Green and he was subsequently instructed to retreat. Prasad said he was told that a joint services operation will take over. Prasad recalled that Hicken informed that the members of the gang who escaped went north in the direction of Lindo Creek.
I see Lindo River on the map, and it is north of Christmas Falls, so it would have been in the direction towards Lindo River.
Meanwhile, the then crime chief said he was not heavily involved in the investigation of the Lindo Creek massacre, since the owner of the mining camp where the men were killed alleged that it was the joint services who were responsible for their deaths and not the Fine Man gang. After reading the allegations in the press, Prasad said he joined a team headed by then Prime Minister Samuel Hines, who was acting president, and they visited the man who made the allegations, Leonardo Roquiam.
I think it was the following day that I received instructions that head OPR would lead the investigation, so I'm not sure who they would have contacted.
So you were not the person that they had to report to directly based on those investigations?
No, I only had ranks that were part of the investigation and the instructions of Mr. McAnally.
So as crime chief, can you say who they were reporting to directly in relation to this specific incident at Lindo Creek?
They were taking instructions and reporting to Mr. McAnally. Mr. McAnally was responsible to the Commissioner of Police.
Prasad told the COI that the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, had recommended that the investigation be closed, and he was comfortable with that advice. Further, Prasad contended that there was scientific and forensic evidence to support the police findings that the Fine Man gang was responsible for the murders. He said the evidence was from a post-mortem examination. However, COI attorney Patrice Henry informed Prasad that there is no evidence to suggest that a post-mortem examination was done.
Commissioner, from the file that was given to this commission, there is no post-mortem report, at least from the file we received, and from at least one witness who would have testified in relation to the coroner's report. Dr. Neil Singh did not perform any post-mortem on any of the bodies. So my question still stands, whether there's any forensic or scientific proof that you could conclusively say that you have to support this alleged eyewitness story.
The Lindo Creek inquiry is the first in a series of COIs to be launched by President David Granger into mysterious killings that occurred during the period 2002 to 2009. The next public hearing is scheduled for February 15, 2018. Davina Samaru, Newsroom.
You see, thanks to the student who's saying, you back up what you're saying with evidence, yeah? That is the training. It doesn't just come to. And let me remind them, this Lindo Creek thing occurred around June 21st, 2008. And the victims were Bonnie Harris, Horace Drakes, Daxa Rokiam, Cecilia Rokiam, Nigel Torres, Clifton Wong, Lancelot Lee, and Compton Spires. And y'all jump in the gun. I don't like when y'all jump the gun. Because people reminding me now too that we had the wet money story at Pondy Quarantine. Rosal, bank robbery at Demerara Bank. Let me see, I think I get the date. August of 2006, Quarantine bank robbery, in which 8 suspects were cornered and killed at the back bush. The kid was part of that operation. So how can this university come to tell us here about conferral of a doctorate and include the term human rights? Any DR that it can get, got to stand for delusional and reprehensible, or delusional reprobate. Let me change that. DR, Patrick, this DR is not doctor, y'all get it wrong. The abbreviation or the prefix BDR in front of the name stands for delusional reprobate. A delusional reprobate. So there come some university for some we come and people jumping up back in night. It is not an academic achievement. And I see the thing with the police, right? The police they get two diploma from university guidance. So what a diploma in what? I wonder a diploma in what? Right? And let me tell you something more about this Linden, this Lindo Creek thing. I was asked to conduct the Lindo Creek COI. I was asked. The government called me and asked me to conduct it. I declined. And the reason why I declined, because in 2008, when this Lindo Creek story went down, I was in the force. I was sitting in the seat of Deputy Commissioner Operations. And I told them it will be a big conflict. I can't do a commission of inquiry on members of the force or part of the force when I was a member of the force at the time when the incident occurred. Because I had expected that any proper COI, I would have been summoned to give evidence. And I wasn't summoned to give evidence. And I was, again, I ain't lacking. Patrice was the man who conducted, he was the Mr. As you see there, Mr. Trotman was the commissioner. The lawyer was Mr. Patrice Henry. And I said before, and someplace else, I said a lot of wrong things went on there. Because first of all, when the evidence was to be given, as we saw there, at some stage, I think it was Silal or somebody mentioned, right there, Silal mentioned the names of the policemen, at least some of the policemen who were involved in that operation. But proper investigation techniques would tell you that every single individual whose name was called ought to have been sworn in and put on the stand to give evidence. Now, no Silal Prasad or no one man giving evidence to say that this is what the police did. Every single person who was on the operation must come, go in the witness box, even down to the last constable, and give evidence. And then a skillful prosecutor, a skillful examiner would have made sure that tie up themselves. Would have made sure that tie up themselves, and the truth might have been more forthcoming. The same thing with the Army. Army put the same one who is now Chief of Staff. He's one of them, Omar Khan. Went there to the Commission of Inquiry, and he gave evidence about the Army's role. And at no stage was it established that he was part of the operation. What nonsense is that? Every single soldier who was on the operation had to go into that witness box, swear. And man, I would have been in my ricketics then if I had anything to do with it. To say, I would have been in my ricketics. They come there, you swear them, you put them, let them go and lie. And they're going to lie and they're going to contradict each other. Because I know from experience with the COI, something like that, they would have had meetings before. They would have sit down and they cook up. And you know what they say about too many cooks? Too many cooks spoil the broth. And that would happen. Because with a cop with a story, they would have sit down and cook up a story. But when you catch them one by one, and you put some lash in them, not literally, you put good cross-examination in them, you would get it revealed. But so again, this university awarded the kid for. So I'm gonna read this thing again. I tell somebody somewhere, I said this is the biggest joke of all times. That Clifton Ikin is awarded a doctorate of philosophy in human rights, social justice by the International American University, a recognition of his contribution to leadership, public service, and industrial institutional development. You think they get leadership in the Guyana Police Force? That's the only organization he has led. Is there leadership in the Guyana Police Force? What type of public service you're talking about? And then it's institutional development. What institutional development? I would dare to say that the Guyana Police Force has retrogressed since it can take over. In other words, it got backward. All sort of allegations, all sort of unprofessional behavior since Ikin. Ikin himself said he took $8.5 million in the office. Ikin deputy get 252 criminal charges before the court. And all sort of scandal, sex scandal in the police training school, people killing people, police shooting and killing people, all sort of thing, all over the place, no proper investigation. And you want to tell me that Ikin is recognized? Y'all allow me to enjoy myself, man. The kid is recognized a doctor of philosophy in human rights, social justice, for his recognition of his contribution to leadership, public service, and institutional development. Is what these people depend on, man. What they depend? What type of due diligence was done? Because I suspect, based on what I'm told, how this thing works, at some stage, somebody would tell them, they get some contact. I say, hey, I want you to recognize this man. Right? I say, let me get your resume. And the man would have put up something. I saw one of his resumes when I was the police service commission. I saw one. I'm not going to disclose, but let him come and challenge. I get the record. Let him come and challenge. I saw the resume. But what type of due diligence would have been done? It's just I take what the people tell you, and then you say you're conferring. Doctorate? Doctor. The man was doctor. You didn't even say which doctor. You didn't even say which doctor before. You said doctor. Right? So again, I say, because many of them, this is and let me say this, I forgot to say this at the start. This is an issue that CC and I discussed before he passed. We discussed it. We were to talk. This is not, no, we were to talk about this thing about a month ago. I had it all queued up about a month ago for us to discuss this thing. The guy got people like Jack Dio and others using this doctor in front of the name. And it is unethical. As I've said, in some places, it is criminal. It is academic fraud. Unless you did research, you did a dissertation, you presented your research, you defended your research, and then you're conformed with a doctorate, the thing around the place, you ought not to be using before your name. Right? As I said, in some places, Nigeria included, and I know people say Nigeria get a reputation for a lot of conmen and so on, but Nigeria has enacted laws to make sure that if you only do that, it is considered academic fraud, charge, jail. Academic fraud. And then they talk about the standards in Germany and all these places. Not being done. But God is not a real place. The guy lives there. There are some real doctors, real doctors. Or like Dr. Todd, Paul Williams, them men do the dissertation, you have Dr. Hines, Dr. The politician, and you have some real doctors, right? Yeah, but this Dr. is one who get honorary doctor from some, I think, but some place in Russia or somewhere. And I don't know if he does use it, but I know people are addressing him as doctor. And I don't think he has ever come out to tell them they should not. And if he has never come out to tell them they should not, then he is dishonest. Because he ought to know, he knows or ought to know that because it's an honorary degree, it ought not to be put before his name, the DR. Unless, like the DR is delusional reprobate. Because he too is a delusional reprobate. He too is one of those things. A delusional reprobate. That is what DR is. That is what DR is. Right? So I say the doctor was getting from India or somewhere like that. Someplace. But the point is that once you are accorded a honorary doctorate, the standard thing around, well, it's not the standard thing, the acceptable thing around is that you should not use it in front of him. As the doctor explained in this program earlier, within the university that accorded you it, yes, within the university that accorded you, but outside of that, you should not. Yeah, Dr. Campbell is a real doctor. He's doing dissertation and he study. He can tell you what his dissertation was about. Wonder what the dissertation might be about pint tart and Solara. Them is dessert, ice cream, cone, and jello. So he must get dessert. He must have a dessert. So you come and are you telling people other thing and so on? Yeah, again, as I've said, whatever the process, they come big nice, they're making big nice. Of course, they say it's history, create history. Force Commissioner, you can't deny that. That is a fact. Force Commissioner of Police to have been accorded an honorary doctorate degree. That is a fact. You can't get away from that. But the point is, what is the process? What is the process? and that delusional reprobate, that is what the DR is for. Delusional. And when you talk about the dissertation, dessert, he had dessert, Solara, pint tart, patty, jello, ice cream. That's the dessert he get. That dissertation. I have had family member. I get family member who did the work, did all the research, and it has to be, it's not something you copy, did the research. When it's time for her to present, we were there to support, because your family you got to present your research and so on before the board, and then you're interrogated. So it's not a case where you could get somebody to write them for you. Come here, they got a certain man who went to University, somebody write, a man from Nigeria, they say write for you, and so on. But I don't think there was any presentation, because even if you got somebody write for you, and them other railway doctor who are going to examine you on the board, when they dig some question for you, they're going to realize that you're a blasted fraud. They're going to realize that you are a fraud. You're a fraud. So let me understand this thing clearly. So those of you who want to come and say, oh, slow jealous, slow eating for aching, and slow think because he ain't get, that is not it. I'm laying the facts before you. I'm laying the facts. That is how these things work. So let me understand it clearly. You could come for me now. I have laid the fact. Let you come and rebut. And as I said, the minister who came out to tell you that first body I see write the thing, Dr. Clifton Dickens. In all fairness to him, I ain't see put it in front of his name yet. Right? But I have no doubt that he might want to do so. Because the minister posted on social media yesterday, Dr. Clifton Dickens. But the minister of Home Affairs, as I said, she has an adversarial relationship with the truth. And people here know, because she got lie, people said that she had renounced her American citizenship, which was proven not to be true. Right? And once you lie, you know the story? If you lie to me one time, that is where the problem is. Because everything you tells me after that, once I find your line, everything you tell me thereafter, I got to view it with a lot of skepticism, because I believe you're lying again. Everything that you said thereafter. And that is why I have said, CC, we still mourning CC. On this program, when we met the night before and thing, we just said, CC, we hear certain things. CC, we are coming on this program to say anything that we have not confirmed, because we're going to lose credibility if we were to do that. We're not coming on this program to say anything at all. Many things have been said to us. Many people send stuff to me, but CC, unless we confirm in this thing, we ain't make it. Because credibility is important. At least we believe it's important. But you have a situation where a president of this country making us out a statement, the minister, the attorney general, the prime minister lying, Mark Phillips, they'll make statement and prove to be lies. So they have absolutely no credibility, and credibility is something that you can't purchase, no matter how high a position you hold. If you don't have credibility, you don't have credibility. Nobody believe what you say. Nobody will believe what you say. Right? And I believe my credibility and integrity cannot be bought. Let me understand this thing clearly. Because if it could have been bought, when the attempt was made to buy my credibility and integrity on the 16th of September 2020, when the president called me and wanted me to do things that were unethical, and I stand up, I said no. If my credibility was for sale, oh man, I would have like James Bond with my nose still up in the backside. But not me. I have to sleep. I have to walk and look on the road, look at people straight in the face. I can't walk and down my head. Many of them walk and look in the air because they have no blasted shame. They are shameless. They have no conscience. They have no conscience. Cockroach eat out them conscience. I got to go real long into the country man talk now. Cockroach eat out them conscience. Right? Let me understand this thing clearly. Folks, we done 2 hours alone, 2 hours batting, me bat by myself, 2 hours batting. Before I leave you here today, because I know y'all begging me for God, 2 hours is good enough batting. But I have a next one. When I talk about credibility. When we talk about credibility. The president himself came out a while ago with a statement. You remember? Yeah, I forget. I don't forget, Listen to this.
Today I can tell you, I know the traffic chief would have sent out 1,600 letters, just above 1,600 letters, on persons who they're interested in to find out how they acquired their driver's license. 16 plus 100 letters would have gone out. And this will be interesting. So The system is already delivering these results for us.
What result you talking about, boss? 1,600 letters gone out, pen pal letters, asking people who you believe or you know, can you say get the record, acquire their driver's license through suspicious means. 16. What happened? The letters you get a response from those pen pals yet? You get what is the position, boss? Please update us, right? Was it registered mail? How you send them? How you send them? Registered mail? Or you had it and delivered? Oh, you send them to the post office? Let me know, man. Tell me 1,600 letters and that thing. A lot of jokes. A lot of jokes. Can remember it was since December the 9th, 2025. President said they did this triangulation. And they know all the people who get driver's license unlawfully. What has happened since then? Now they're sending out letter. They got into this pen pal arrangement. We send out letter. Right? Yes, I just had some water, brother. I had some water just now while the president was addressing you about the 1,600 letter. I wet my lips. I wet my lips. Now, let me show you all this one. Let me show you all this one. This is another tape. I came across this picture. Look. I came across this. Somebody sent it to me, as a matter of fact. This is me in the middle. This is me, you see there, returning from United Nations duties. UNTAG, UNTAG, United Nations Transition Assistance Group, Namibia. I was returning with some of my colleagues who worked there with me. That was in 1990, sometime around April 1990. Some of you might remember or might recognize some of the people who are there, right? This is the best I can get to the picture. But this is Anif Bakas. This is Lynch. This is 8601 Caesar. You have Shanshalat. This is Glendon Wilson. You have Sumner, who is now deceased. You have Calvin Griffith, deceased. This is Brokan Fraser, Ian Lewis. I think this is Seeley 10231, Norman Seeley. And look at the back here, you get Armstrong. Yeah. There were 20 of us. 20 of us returned from Namibia. We were 30 in all, and the 10 came earlier. And this is the last set we came home. BWIA, we were met at Timeri by Ronald Harris. I said Ronald Fraser. Ronald Fraser, who was the AC admin. And there's a story I got to write about at some stage too. So folks, we've had a long morning. Before I go, let me say this. I almost forget. Someone of the students commented earlier. Mark Griffith, he said that his daughter, Casey Griffith, graduated with a doctorate recently. Congratulations to Mark and Casey, right? And I'm sure this degree, this doctor's degree that Casey, or Cassie, C-A-S-S-E-Y, Cassie Griffith graduated with is not no honorary stuff. I say she did her dissertation and she was able to present her dissertation, defend her dissertation, and then she was accorded or awarded the doctorate. Folks, we had a long morning. Single wicket batting, 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think I did well. I just want to remind you about those of you. First, I want to congratulate those of you who have made contributions to the program. And I want to remind you, those of you in a position, to just give me a little bribe so that I want not no bribe. I know Officer Tecker. You know, there was a man we used to call Officer Tecker bribe. I remember Officer Tecker. Tecker used to be on the East Coast. I think he served with me at something on the TSU too. Yeah, I always had a smile. But I say he was a serious man when it comes to teching. So Officer Tecker, I am not a Tecker, but I say contributions for the upkeep of this program are accepted. And thank you very much to those of you who say that I did well. I will continue to come and to do justice, not only for myself, but I got to bat now for me, and I got to bat for CC. I have to bat for me, and I got to bat for CC. I can't allow them to, they could have never deterred me. But now that CC has gone, and to the great beyond, and he's there looking down on me, I owe it to him and myself to do him proud. and toward you to do proud too. So, folks, thank you for your great attendance today, Monday. Great attendance. God spare life. I'm gonna come again on Wednesday to bring another episode. Let me one thing I gotta tell you, I have to choose my songs very carefully. I have to choose my songs very carefully because the SME, there's a Sony Musical Entertainment, they have this aggressive algorithm. And if you only play a couple of seconds of any song that they own the copyright to, they're threatening to knock you off and all this type of thing. So I have to tread very, very, very carefully. But I believe I can tell you this afternoon, with regards to all that I've said, who vex lose. And let me ask Fab 5 to sing it for me.
I have a sad story to tell you. It might hurt your feelings a bit. Last night as I walked in my bathroom, I stepped in a big pile of shaving cream. Be nice and clean. Shave every day and you'll always look clean. I think I'll break up with my daughter. Her antics are queer, I'll admit. Each time I say, darling, I love you, she tells me that I'm full of shaving cream. Be nice and clean. Shave every day and you'll always look clean. My baby fell out of the window. I thought that her head would be split, but good luck was with her that morning. She fell in a barrel of shaving cream. Be nice and clean. Shave every day and you'll always be clean. My old lady died in her bathtub. She died from a terrible fit. In order to fulfill her wishes, she was buried in 6 feet of shaving cream. Be nice and clean. Shave every day and you'll always be clean. When I was at camp in the army, one day I looked inside my kit. I tried to find me some highly, but the damn thing was loaded with shaving cream. Be nice and clean. Shave every day and you'll always look clean. Now this is the end of my story. I think it is time I should quit. And if any one of you do not like it, push your head in a bucket of shaving cream. Be nice and clean. Shave every day and you'll always be clean. Alright, shaving cream. Be nice.
The last part I haven't grasped all that I've said. If any one of you do not like it, put your head in a bucket of shaving cream. Folks, good mood. And then a good mood. See smiling, man. See watching me and he's smiling. So somebody asked, and God's Spare Life, we're gonna come again next Wednesday for another episode of Speaking Out. Let me ask Mr. Otis Redding to do the honors.
I want to thank you for being so nice, man. I want to thank you for giving me my pride.
I want to thank you for being so nice. I want to thank you for having been here today. And as I've said earlier, see you, God's Spray Life. See you on Wednesday. I urge you to be safe. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Until we meet again, bye.
Speaking out, yeah. Up comes Parslow and Mr. Clinton. Conway, speaking and exposing corruption each and every day. Yeah. Guyanese, turn on your TV and go to YouTube and listen to what Parslow and Conway to say. Yeah. Whole day we are calling for Parslow and Clinton Conway. They teach and educating, exposing the things in the system. We need a better Guyana for the little boys and the children poor. Slow and Clinton Conway. Hear me when I sing. Yeah. Guyanese at home and abroad. Please log into Conway as wide as it can reach. Parslow, you always will preach. Oh, yeah. Like and share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so this message could reach as far.